So then let's kick it back over to you, Grant, and let's preview some conference championships. Let's get us started with your Kansas City Chiefs matching up against the Ravens.
This game, the biggest thing for me is, last year in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs offensive line had their game of the year and the game of their lives. Well, they're going to need it again this year in this AFC Championship game, because you're going into Baltimore, you're playing that defense, and the defense who led the league in sacks this year, and I think was top 3 in terms of rushing yards per game allowed. Well, if the Chiefs can't get Pacheco going and the Ravens are able to rush with discipline and get to Pat Mahomes, it could be a long day. And then another thing to look out for is, Joe Thuney left that game on Sunday with a strained pectoral muscle. I don't know if he's going to be able to go on Sunday. One report says he's doubtful. One report says he's going to do everything in his power he can to play. Potentially not having Joe in this game is huge. Like I said, because with him, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith, that's a center 2-guard combination that I'll take over anybody in the NFL. And if you need him if you want to win this game, because I truly believe the Chiefs are going to have to continue to run the ball and play offense the way they have these last couple, really ever since that Cincinnati game, so these last couple weeks. And then also just last week with the confidence of getting MVS a couple deep shots, having him take over the middle of the field and work in that corner, that's going to be big. And then continuing to have this passing game run through Travis Kelce. Last week, the 2 touchdowns, a couple other big catches. If you can get him and Mahomes going, that's huge. But I think most importantly, I think for this Chiefs defense is they have to rush. They have to rush with integrity this week. Last week, there was multiple times where they were running 5 yards past Josh Allen, and he's taking his legs and he's going to scramble and he's going to make you pay for that. Well, this week's a whole different animal with Lamar Jackson. If you can't keep him in the well and keep him in front of you, he's going to tear you apart, because his legs are just a weapon that we haven't seen in this league since Michael Vick. One of those, when you're rushing the quarterback, once you get to the quarterback level, you need to peel back inside, and you need to keep him in. And then also, I think what Spags did last year in the second half of that Super Bowl, they need to bring pressure from anywhere and everywhere in that game. Make Lamar uncomfortable. Is he coming from my left? Is he coming from my right? Because anytime you can get him to slow down for maybe a half a second, that's an advantage for you. Because I do think the Chiefs have the advantage in the secondary against the Ravens wide receivers. I think they can play sticky coverage on them and have Lamar make some tight throws. But with that being said, if they need to get pressure on Lamar, so he maybe makes a mistake or two, that maybe the Chiefs can lead to a pick 6 or just an extra possession for their offense coming into this tight game on Sunday. I expect it to be a 3-point game, kind of like when they played their first game in 2018 and then also their last game in 2021 on Sunday night when the Ravens won by a point. So they have to rush with integrity, and I think Spags has to bring pressure from anywhere and everywhere to really try to confuse Lamar and just slow him down for half a second to get to him.
Yeah, I think a big X factor in this game, and he's a question mark, is Willie Gay, because he is the one linebacker that they're going to be having probably spy Lamar, and if he can't go, I don't think there's a linebacker on the roster that's going to be able to spy on him, which makes their rushing with integrity all the more important. And I had this down too. Is I think the team with the most rushing yards is going to win the game. Right now, the Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. The total in this game is 44.5. Another, with Pacheco's status, Thuney's status, I think another thing to keep an eye on is which team is going to be able to create more explosive plays where they're going to be able to create plays of 40-plus yards. Because I think this game, to me, feels like it's going to be very much a field goal game. I think you're going to see both these teams move the ball 20-20 and then toughen up in the red zone. It's going to come down to, who's going to be able to, is it a trick play? Is it a field position flip where, a team gets a short field? Who's going to be able to where they can get a big chunk play where they just got to get, where they're able to get into the red zone and make something happen where they get that momentum. I wouldn't be shocked too. Both of these teams, to once they hit that big play, is go tempo. Get the defense on their heels and try to put the pressure on the defense when they're tired, where they have to rush to get up to the line, and once they get set, once they get across or not even where they can snap the ball and almost steal a touchdown, if you will.
I agree. And Dylan, one thing also you mentioned, I wonder, are these coaches going to be aggressive and go for it on fourth down? Like if it's a 4th and 2 from the Baltimore 34 or the Baltimore 30, is Andy just going to sit back and say, hey, we need touchdowns to extend this drive? And why I think this is going to be interesting in this game, you have two great kickers with Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker. Are these coaches going to be aggressive and say, hey, we need touchdowns? Or are they going to sit back and say, I trust my field goal kicker to get us points, in this game, and I trust our defense to get a stop? It's going to be one of those, game within the game where I'm just looking to maybe see who decides to say, hey, I trust my field goal kicker, or, you know what, it's the AFC Championship game. It's do or die. Let's try to get a first down and get a touchdown in this drive here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is going to be, and that's, I think, the part that drives me nuts about the analytics like hardos, where, if it's 4th and 1, you have to go. I think it's going to be very much determined on the flow of the game. If yards are tough to come by and it's 4th and 1, 4th and inches, and if you're running the ball well, I think you're going to see the coaches go for it. But I think if yards are tough to come by, where teams, it's going to be tough to get those yards early on, I think you have to take the points and kick the game, because, like you said, Grant, I think points are going to be at a premium in this game. I think so. Let's go to predictions here.
One thing real quick. I also think for the Chiefs, if they want to win this game, with how fast and how aggressive these Baltimore linebackers are, there has to be a lot of misdirection and window dressing. Because if you just try to run straight up at Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, they're going to take your lunch money and eat you alive. You got to get them going one way and then back the other, where maybe they're out of position and you can get, a 15 to a 25-yard run off that, because they're flowing one way and it goes the opposite of them.
Yeah, and let's get to predictions here. I'll go first, Grant, since it's your team. I'll let you cap her off here. But for me, I think this game's gonna promise to be an incredible game. It's gonna be a back and forth. It's gonna be if you want to see hard hits, this is the game to watch. I think. Well, actually, both these games are Sunday. Are gonna be hard hitting affairs. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the way football should be meant to play. And for me, I think evenly matched teams. And right now, we don't know the status of Pacheco, Thuney, and Willie Gay. My hunch is that I think all three are going to at least try to give it a go. And in these evenly matched games here, I think you go with who the better quarterback is. And Lamar might be the MVP. But we haven't seen him play in a game with these type of stakes on the line. How is he going to handle when the pressure is on him? We've seen him in the past in playoff games where he has not performed his best. You go back to the 2019 season against Tennessee where he didn't play a great game. You go back to when they went to Buffalo and they were only able to put up 3 points in the COVID year. How are we going to see MVP Lamar, or are we going to see him resort back to it? Until I see it, until I see somebody take the crown from him, I'm not betting against Pat Mahomes. I'm going Chiefs win 30-27.
Oh boy, man! If that's the case, we have set ourselves up for a great Sunday, because the second.
Do you have your heart pills ready?
I do have the aspirin ready for me, in case my chest gets a little tight. And I need to kind of have my blood thinned out. The aspirin is ready. we're ready. The aspirin is ready. The heart pills are good to go. Probably gonna watch that game on an empty stomach. Um, and you know what? Not have anything to drink before because I can't risk going to the bathroom and missing anything with that. Um, but Dylan, I'm with you. I like the Chiefs in this game, and just because I think they have their confidence going, and the Sunday was their best offensive game they've played all year. They know what they're doing well, and they know what they need to do to move the ball on this Ravens defense. I think Andy's going to have his quick game is going to be on fire. I think we're going to see a lot of screen passes. I think he's going to challenge his offensive line. They're going to come out and they're going to play. And it's one of those where, hey, they've been there and they've done that. They went on the road last week. They didn't get scared of playing in Buffalo. They're going to be able to go to Baltimore and deal with that crowd noise. I think Pat's going to have a great game. And I really do think this Chiefs defense is going to answer. After the first half and the first drive Buffalo had last week, they really bowed up. They made a play. I think Spags and this defense is going to make a statement and say, hey, we were third in the league in scoring this year. We're going to shut the MVP down. And you're right. I think all three of those guys are going to give it a go. And I think the Chiefs are going to win a hard-fought game 24-20 on Sunday.
Okay. All right. So, that is 24-20. That is a score that is very very important to some people. The total for the game is 44.5. So
Yep.
Grant likes the under. I like the over.
Yep.
I think I'm going with the over because I do think that there's going to be a explosive play. We might see a big play touchdown that could mess with it where that's going to be the difference.